Hey, what's up guys, Tony here, and as I'm recording this, it is T-minus 19 minutes until Battlefield 3 comes out. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about Battlefield 3 because, well, obviously we're watching Black Ops, but it's one of the things that's on my mind right now. I'm sitting here and working on this essay that's due on Wednesday, and of course here it is Monday night. And I've kind of been procrastinating a little bit. But it's just been that busy for me. Obviously, you guys can tell that I haven't been putting out videos on a regular schedule like I used to. So I kind of hope you guys understand that's a good indication for how busy I am. And I do hope to get back to a regular schedule, posting schedule here pretty soon. I just really have been super busy with school. And to be honest, it doesn't seem to be like any end in sight, maybe minus the end of the semester. Oh, there goes my phone going off. And I bet you... Yeah, it's a friend of mine. I posted this thing on Facebook, and I had a feeling that it was going to get some shit. And I'll basically tell you guys what I wrote is that I saw something on the news today that some Republicans were criticizing the Obama administration's policy of removing all the troops from Iraq by December 31st, 2011, and they're saying basically that he failed with this troop withdrawal, but President Bush back in 2008 is the guy who agreed upon and signed this declaration that we were going to remove all U.S. forces from Iraq by December 31st, 2011. So I thought it was kind of funny that Republicans are up in arms about this particular situation, even though their president, and I don't like to say their president because I really think no matter what political party you're part of, it's our president. So President Bush, the Republican candidate or the Republican president, is one guy who signed this thing. So I just find it, the irony is just, it's always there. But I want to talk about something different. I may or may not have mentioned this. I know I mentioned that I went to my buddy Chad's wedding 2 weeks ago on Friday. A friend of mine, it was my friend's wedding. So I had two friends' weddings in 2 weeks. But the thing is, though, is this last Friday, the friend's wedding, it was my ex-girlfriend's sister. But I became really close with her family, and it was one of those situations where, it was one of those amicable situations after we broke up. We remained friends for a long time. I mean, I've known this girl for 10 years, and we dated for about 2.5 years. And I don't think I've ever mentioned my dating history. I thought I was going to make a video about it once before, but I opted not to. Anyways, the point is that my ex-girlfriend and I have got a unique relationship, and I actually want to talk about that because I thought about it because of the situation that happened on Friday night, you know, and the things that have been going on. So let me go ahead and tell you this. I met this girl, Elizabeth, who is my ex-girlfriend that I'm mentioning. I met her back in high school. So my senior year in high school, she was a sophomore, and I don't want to get all sappy, but I really had that love and first sight thing. I don't know, it's the only time it's ever happened to me, but I really think I fell in love with this girl at first sight. And it was a situation that persisted for a very long time. We didn't start dating until 2003, so 2 years after I graduated, and we dated for 2.5 years. So we broke up in early 2006 after starting dating in July of 2003. So almost 3 years. We even lived together for about 6 months when I was living up in Santa Barbara. And the thing though is that I never quite got over this girl. We didn't really have like a real breakup. It was just sort of a split. We just sort of split and went our own separate ways. And I think a lot of that actually had a lot to do with the fact that I never quite got over. Do you see that nice nade? Never quite got over her in the situation that we were in. And so I found myself, when I finally moved back down, and I mean, there was a period of awkwardness when we broke up. There was just times where, you know, it was just weird to be around each other. And so anyways, back in 2007, when I finally moved back down from Santa Barbara for good, we kind of started talking again, and we sort of we had our friendship was sort of like a rebirth of our friendship. We sort of understood where both of us were, and we kind of understood that we weren't going to be getting back together anytime soon. But the thing though is, as much as I would like to have believed that in my head, I know now that I just was pretending that I understood that, because I realized this recently, and let me kind of keep going on this little history lesson before I go into what I realized. But, anyways, her and I have had this weird dynamic in our relationship where there'll be times where, we'll flirt with each other, we'll be around each other, and there is an attraction. I think there will always be some sort of an attraction there. And we've even, we've actually slept with each other, even though we were broken up, But the thing though is when we get into, especially in a family dynamic with her family, she gets kind of awkward. She gets really weird, and it borderlines on like kind of a dick maneuver because, I thought it was gonna be a hero and spray elf motherfuckers in there. She'll pretty much flat out ignore me, and it's one of those things that I understand. It happens, but I mean, it's like, hey, look, we're friends, we're not dating, so I don't really take it personally. Well, here's the thing, is that at the wedding, actually before this, a couple months ago, I had started having these dreams about her, and it dawned on me that I still really love this girl. I'm like madly in love with this girl, and she's the same girl that I'm gonna go visit in Ukraine this December, and I decided that what I was going to do is at the wedding, I was just going to tell her how I feel. I was going to get it out there, and good, bad, or ugly, I was going to get some closure. I didn't want to get to the country, and be staying with her and have some sort of an awkward situation. And so I made my mind up that I was going to talk to her about this. Well, unfortunately, the situation never arose because during the wedding, I was photographing the wedding, but during the wedding, the thing though is that, especially at the reception, we didn't really talk. Like, it was like she knew what I was gonna do, because every time I tried to get close to her to talk to her, she would move to the other side of the reception. And at first I thought it was like, okay, well, it's just a coincidence because people move around. That's sort of the nature of a reception. But then there were a couple times I actually tested her. Like, I would walk to the dance floor, and then she would like leave, go to the back of the room, and then I would go to the back of the room, and then she would leave to go do something else. So she maintained this like opposite of the room distance, and every time I tried to talk to her, we didn't really say much. And then even at the end of the night when I tried to talk to her just about something that's, I don't know, it was just sort of superficial, because her niece, she had just met her niece for the first time because she's back in the country just for her sister's wedding. And that just didn't go very well. And she wasn't very responsive. And I thought that was weird because her and I, we have a very close relationship. We're very, very close. And I mean, so much so that, she confides in me. She confided in me like when her aunt died. She confided in me when her grandfather died. I'm pretty much her closest confidant. And so I was quite put off by the fact that she really didn't make an effort to talk to me, even though, I was right there. It was just really, really strange. And so, to be honest, I'm feeling a little put off. And then I got thinking, I'm like, you know what? I think this was exactly what I needed. I wanted the hard truth. I needed that closure. So I think that part of my life finally is over. It sounds weird, and I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm pining over this girl, like I've been pining over this girl for a very long time. But it's really hard to shake those feelings of love. Like, if you really love somebody, it's really, really hard to just be like, okay, I'm gonna get over this girl, because sometimes it just doesn't happen, and it takes these sort of events. But what the heart and soul of what I'm about to talk about, this whole reason for bringing this all up, is because I had realized when I was driving back down from the reception that the way that I had been approaching my life was the way that I sort of approached our relationship. There were things about me when we were dating that she didn't like. Like, she didn't like the fact that I was a street racer. She didn't like the fact that I messed with she liked the fact that I was able to work on cars, but she didn't like the fact that I used to modify cars and do things like that. And so I started to get walk on eggshells around her. I didn't want to upset her. I didn't want to do something that would make her not like me anymore. And so as a result, a lot of the things that I used to like to do, I stopped doing. And so I found myself a changed person in a bad way. I'm not. When you ever in a good relationship, you want to change for that person, but you don't necessarily want to completely change who you are as a person, because then that's a really bad relationship. Well, this I'm finding was a very bad relationship. I was changing the things that I like to do for her, and so as I was coming home from this reception, I had realized that, man, I still love this girl, but I don't think it's worth it in the end, because I don't want to change who I am as a person. Nobody should change who they are as a person. I mean, like I said, you should make some sort of a change. You know, if you're like a horrible person, I don't know. I don't want to approach that subject, but there are certain things that you might want to adjust for the nature of the relationship. But your core as a person should never change. And so that's sort of what I'm going to do from here on out. Is I want to reestablish the things that I used to like to do, the things that make me the person I am. Because I'm not afraid anymore, because obviously in this relationship that I had hoped for a long period of time was going to continue on and maybe have some sort of a rebirth, isn't going to happen anymore. So I guess it's sort of a proclamation to myself that I'm going to do the things that I want to do. Like, I want to spend money on my car. I totally do, but I never did, because here's an example, a simple example, like an exhaust system. I wanted to get an exhaust system for my Corolla. I know it's a 4-cylinder. It's not the greatest car in the world. But when I tinker with my car, it sort of makes me feel somewhat fulfilled. I don't know why. It always does. It just does. You know? And I realized that every time I wanted to do it, I backed down, because I always thought, what if Elizabeth got in my car, thought less of me because I modified my car? You know? And things like that, it always stopped me. So, like I said, guys, I'm proclaiming right now that I'm not going to do that anymore. I am going to be the person I want to be. I'm going to do the things I want to do. Love me or hate me, this is who I am, and that's sort of the relationship that I'm going to be in. Now, when I go to Ukraine, you know what I'm going to do? Like, because I didn't get a chance to talk to her about how I feel and the things that have been going on. I'm going to give up on it. You know, I know some people are telling me, go for it, just tell her how you feel. I know her family really likes me. You know, several comments were made Thursday night during the rehearsal, like, hey, you know, we need to find a way to get you in the family. Oh my gosh, you're such a great guy, this stuff. And I think that's where I got a little delusional. And then the whole letdown on Friday night was one of the things that just opened my eyes. So, anyways, guys, I've run over time. I hope I explained everything I wanted to explain. These kind of commentaries are a little hard to do, because the storyline is 10 plus years long, and it's so much to cram into a 10-minute commentary. But a couple of channel notes. I want to get some videos put out. I think I've got my software situation squared away, so I hope to be bringing some Major League Baseball MLB 11 videos soon again. Matt Adams stuff, Chester Anderson, of course, Scott McLean. Also, I need to record stuff for Yauch. They're going to be barking up my tree here pretty soon, asking for some videos, because it's been a couple of weeks since I've done a video. But be patient, guys. I'm trying to square away this situation. I hate to make 3 videos about how I totally effed up with my whole formatting thing, but it's just sort of the facts of the matter. But anyways, guys, hey, thanks for sticking around for this long commentary. Thanks for letting me rattle on about my life and the things that have been going on. And anyways, thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys listening. Thanks for subscribing, guys. And thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.